Coach Favors and then take questions for usual. Just raise your hand and we'll come around and call on you. Coach can get us started.
Really excited about being 2-1. I thought that there was parts of the game that were extremely clean, and then obviously, some things that were not so clean with the penalties and whatnot. But I do believe the young men played extremely hard, and it was a very physical game. It was a very physical game. We've got some guys in the training room that are banged up, and we got to get them back healthy, and that's going to be really important for our success this week. When it comes to the situation of the quarterbacks, we're still in the evaluation going on with them. I'm not going to be announcing anything right here because it'll be a tactical advantage for our opponent. But in the order of they will know first, the team will know second, and the media will know third. Hopefully it's that order. So without further ado, if there's any questions, let's go.
Questions? We'll start back with Mark and then go to Brent here.
Okay, Coach, so is the evaluation, is it too close to call at the moment? Is that why it's still going on? Or how long do you expect it to last before you at least tell them?
Well, the evaluation, we still want to get the parts of this week, and there's other parts of the evaluation that goes into it as well, based off of who's playing and who's not playing. There's a lot of things going on right now.
So the game didn't decide it. It's still going to be decided practice this week.
We're still going through the evaluation, yes, sir.
Brent?
Coach, when you looked at the penalty situation, is there a common denominator there?
No, and that's the alarming thing. If it was something that was common, you can go and attack it. And it's young people, but there are some older people in there too. And we had a very productive kumbaya meeting on the field today, and hopefully it'll take root and it'll show up on game day.
Steven?
I wanted to ask about the offensive line. I think Dakota played about 35 snaps. How ready is he to play a full game's worth of snaps? And in turn, do you expect to kind of have 5 guys or maybe rotate again against limited?
With those guys and with Coda's conditioning level, we need to think more about a rotation. We were glad that he got the 35 that he got in, and if he can we hope that he can get more this week, and then hopefully build him up to a level where he can play an entire game.
It seems like Service has played center a bunch. I'm sure that's not a concern. Tisdale going back and forth between guard and tackle. How hard is that to do in a game, and is that potentially a concern?
It is difficult. It's definitely going to affect some of his grade points. They're graded on a percentage, just like a college exam. There's no doubt if you play 2 positions, it affects your grade. But we take that into consideration based off of your effort and the things that you're doing as well. In which position, if you're playing a newer position in a game, we don't expect you to grade as high as you do as something that you've played a long period of time. So we take that into consideration based off their performance.
Coach, how do you game plan for a quarterback like Malik Willis?
Man, I was watching him last night, and he's a quarterback that can throw the football, okay? And he throws a good deep ball, he throws a good short ball, but he runs so strong. I'm not going to call him a running back because he's not, but God, he does not run like a running quarterback. He's better than that, and very, very strong, very, very physical.
Chris, then Alex, then Tom.
Dino, when did you kind of recognize that what Cody Roscoe did at McNeese State, he was also going to be able to do kind of at this level for you?
That is, I had a member of my staff and also someone else who had been on my staff before recommend him very, very highly. And they had been in with me at different levels before. Like when we were at Eastern Illinois, we knew that Kamu Gruber-Hill was going to be an NFL player even though we were at an FCS school. And obviously we knew that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be an NFL player even though he was at an FCS school. Sometimes guys just slip through the cracks, and you go to a place and you go, what is this guy doing here? This guy has no business being here. He should be at a higher level. And they told me that Cody Roscoe was one of those guys. And since I knew them and they knew me, and I believed them, I believe in my friends. They say, hey, Coach, do this. You're going to be okay. You're going to feel great about it. And here we are, and they're exactly right. He's a valuable member of our team. We're glad we've got him.
Is it, I don't know, is his body one that wasn't one that belonged at that level? Did he have a motor or some sort of intangible, or what was it?
the body doesn't look right, but you can't judge the size of the heart.
Yeah.
Dino, do you like where your team is heading into week 3? I mean, just ability-wise, and this is where you expect your team to be?
I expect it to be a little bit better than this on a record standpoint, but from a health standpoint, I will not ever complain based off of what happened last year. So we're banged up, but we're not like last year. So we understand that we can go out, we can still do things, we can find a way to help each other, and as long as we play as a team, we'll have an excellent opportunity to win.
Tom?
Coach, if you have a Friday game instead of a Saturday where you lose that one extra day of preparation, what looks different this week? Is there a particular day where you're kind of combining a part of that routine had it been a Saturday game?
What looks different is my face in this press conference and me still having my practice clothes on. We're tired. You know, the coaches are tired, but that doesn't, we don't, you know, IDC. The coaches are tired. The players need to be fresh. And the key thing is to make sure we get our practice in on Monday. We'll get our practice in tomorrow and then back off of these guys and try to get them to the game on Friday as fresh as they can be, because they'll be playing in front of their friends. You know, it's that Friday night game that everybody that's playing a Saturday night game gets to watch while they're sitting in the hotel. So all their buddies will see them, all their high school buddies, all their college buddies, coaches across the country, other coaches calling coaches, head coaches calling head coaches. It's one of those things, and it's a fabulous opportunity to put our program, you know, in the limelight.
Hey, you know, when you look at all the running backs you've coached over your years, what makes Sean Tucker stand out?
I've coached some good running backs now. Sean, I've said this before, good running backs, you see the big runs and everybody goes, oh, he's a this, he's a that. It's the runs that you don't think are good. I remember, okay, I'll give you an example, and I'm not saying he's this guy, but I'm gonna give you an example. I had an opportunity to do an internship with the Detroit Lions when Barry Sanders was the running back. And I'm at practice for 2 weeks watching Barry Sanders practice. And I'm seeing runs in practice that I've never seen him do in the game. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God. I mean, just unbelievable stuff. And he's at practice. The good ones do stuff all the time. Getting back to answering your question, Sean is really good at the little runs. You see the big ones, but there's times he could be hit 2 or 3 yards in the backfield. He ends up getting a +2 or a +3. One of the runs, a guy's right there to tackle him, but he just runs through the arm tackle, and boom, all of a sudden he's in the secondary and he's walking in. And it happens so fast you don't see it. And then you go back on the tape and you go, wow, that guy was right there, and then he was gone. And the bottom line is he has fantastic acceleration. He's got a great center of gravity, and you really got to get him to get him. I mean, you got to really light him up to knock him down. So it's those little runs, and you put those big runs up afterwards, and that's how you see the numbers that you see.
Coach, you just touched on Sean's acceleration. Obviously, as I'm sure you've talked with him about, he has a background in track. How does that kind of shape the explosive, speedy player that he is?
I think we used to have a thing that fast people run track. Okay, fast people run track. In baseball, if you're a baseball player, the fastest guy in the school doesn't play baseball. The fastest guy in the school doesn't play lacrosse. The fastest guy in the school runs track, and everybody knows because he's the fastest guy in the school. The only other guys on the track team that aren't fast are football players who are there because their football coaches are making them there so they can get faster for football. Okay. Sean is something in between all that. I'm not saying he's supersonic track fast, but he's definitely faster than the average football player, and that's the speed that you guys see on the field.
Right. And then I know you're not going to obviously name a quarterback yet.
Especially since I said earlier that I wasn't going to name a quarterback yet, but go ahead.
Yeah, but, you know, does having 2 good quarterbacks, like you mentioned, mean that you're going to keep whoever you choose to start on a shorter leash, kind of knowing that you can pull them?
I think that anytime you have 2 guys that are capable of playing, that I really believe it's more of a starter-reliever type situation than anything. Both guys have to prepare. The defense is going to prepare for both guys, which helps us offensively. And then if you put the starter in, if he can go 9 innings like Randy Jones and finishes the game, that's great. But if he can only go 6 or 7, we got to bring in the reliever from the Yankees. That's fantastic. Bring in the reliever, and then we'll see who plays good, who gets to do it the next time. But I see it more like that. We got 2 guys that can play more so than one guy's this and another guy's that.
Do you have any update you can provide on Ben LaBrosse?
This is what happened. Ben LaBrosse has left the program. Okay. He decided that he wanted to go back home. It's a personal reason that you can ask him about if you would like. I'm not going to share it. I do know the reason. I'm not going to share it. And we really miss him. He was a valuable part of our family, and we really wanted him to stay, and he decided not to. In fact, I just told the team on Sunday that we mailed him his game ball because he got a game ball for the first game, and we mailed it back to his house because that's how we do things here at Syracuse.
Can you talk about what you've seen from the secondary without him and without Garrett Williams?
I thought they played well. I really did. Jihad wasn't in there. Garrett sat out, and I thought they did a good job.
So Tosh Harris didn't play against Albany last week. Do you think he'll be ready to play on Friday night?
I asked him that today at practice, and he gave me one of these. So last week he gave me one of these too, and he didn't go. So I'm hoping it's one of these, and we get an opportunity to see him.
Mark, let's see it.
Coach, I want to go back to the quarterback. So Saturday you called it an emotional decision. And you're dealing with kids, obviously, who have emotions, and they both think they should be out there. How difficult is a decision like, because it'd be easier if one of them clearly distanced themselves, but that clearly hasn't happened. So how difficult is a decision like this for you as a coach? How do you handle it?
Well, I think it's difficult, but I think the key thing is you just want to be as fair as you can possibly be. You got 4 kids. You want to be fair to all 4, even though 3 may get their way in a situation and 1 may not. And even though that doesn't happen, you hope that the one that did not still knows that they're part of the family and they're loved, and the next day they may get it their way, but today they didn't.
And, are you concerned about losing one of them if they're not the starter?
We're a family, okay? Everyone gets to make their own decisions.
Stephen, and then back to the far side.
I wanted to ask about Luke Benson. What are the chances he plays against Liberty, and if not, how hard is it from a game planning perspective to potentially not have him and Elmo?
The second part is we're going to have to see about the game part. The first part is we're still not sure because the evaluations aren't done yet on whether he is or he isn't.
I mean, obviously Max has gotten some run here. How close is he to being able to do everything? And then is Steve, if you guys want to run 12 stuff, I'm assuming Mahar is the next guy. Is that
Mahar's the next guy up. He's an athletic guy. He's got a scholarship. We think he's really good. And I think you saw Max. We caught that one pass in the middle of the field. He turned up like a big European guy and, played big. So I think he's more than capable of doing some things. I'm not going to say they're as fast as Luke. Of course, there's like 100 and something guys that are not as fast as Luke. But I think we can still do some things.
We're going back here and then Alex.
Coach, what has Jason Simmons added to your defense through the first 3 games?
He's really played well. Our big thing is we need him to continue to grow. He's made mistakes in each game, but you've seen him getting better and better and better. And he also helps us a great deal in the special teams and stuff like that he's doing. But we're glad we have him. And we want to see, he's at one stage right now, but in 4 or 5 games, if he's continues to grow, that's when it would be really exciting. We need him to keep growing and keep getting better every game.
Quarterback question again. 3 weeks in, is this where you thought you would be with your quarterback situation?
No, but that's okay. Those things happen. Patience is a virtue. And, we're being as patient as we can.
Nate? I wanted to circle back on a couple of things we referenced throughout this press conference. We talked about guys who look like they belong at another level from the lower level. Was 96 for Albany one of those guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you act on anything you see on tape like that? Will you start a process of looking into him?
I don't even know if that's NC2A legal, Nate. I really don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Did you look at Willis when he was thinking about leaving Auburn?
I don't remember if we did. I would have to check the recruiting people. Normally, that thing happened with, Hugh, I think, coached him and recruited him and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes guys hit the transfer portal where they're available for everybody. And then sometimes guys hit the transfer portal and 4 minutes later they're going to a school. I want to think that that was more the case with Willis.
What, 2 more will start, Stephen?
Follow up on Willis, actually. How do you replicate that in practice? Like, how do you get a defense? Is there anything you can try and do with what you have?
I'll answer you in Spanish. No.
Anything, so you obviously haven't played a guy like that this year. Is there anything from last year that can prepare this defense? Like, what are you leaning on this week as you're trying to get ready for?
Last year's tape. All we got to do is watch last year's tape and watch what he did last year. I mean, he's 1 year older, 1 year stronger, 1 year faster, 1 year knows their offense better. I'm sure the coaches know him even better. Depending on how healthy he is, based off, he looks like he's healthy, doesn't look like he's banged up. And that's the amazing thing is his style of play. You would think that he would get banged up a little bit or slow up, and not one game limp a little bit during the game. But you don't see any of that stuff. He's a Mack truck. He just doesn't go down. It seems like he doesn't get hurt.
And for the last question, we'll go to Tommy right here.
Dino, we're rounding out our 3 home games in a row this Friday. Kind of what's the message to the fans that have been to 1 or 2 of these first 2 games, or for the fans that haven't been there yet? Okay.
The first message is thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for being a part of it. And if you liked what you've seen, come back. Liberty's going to be a heck of a game. If you haven't liked what you've seen, come back so you can boo and be heard. But the key thing is get in there and come back. Let's fill that place up, and let's show people what Syracuse is all about all the way across the nation on Friday night.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.